Hello, everyone. Welcome again. Today's story is a simple English listening practice for beginner English learners. There is no need to hurry. Just listen slowly and enjoy the story. At the same time, you will improve your English naturally. This story can help your English listening skills. It can also help your English fluency and vocabulary step by step. So, get comfortable and let us start the story. Maya was 22 years old. She came from Brazil. 3 months ago, she moved to London. She wanted a new life. She wanted to improve her English, and she wanted to feel more confident. But the truth was simple. London felt very different, very cold, very quiet, very fast. Every morning, Maya woke up in a very small apartment. The apartment was old. The walls were white. The kitchen was tiny. And outside the window, she could hear buses and cars all day. Sometimes she stood near the window with a cup of tea. She looked outside quietly. People walked fast. Nobody looked at each other. Nobody smiled very much. And little by little, Maya started to feel lonely. Very lonely. Every morning, she took the underground train to her English school. The train was always crowded. People looked at their phones. Some people listened to music. Some people looked tired. Maya usually sat quietly near the door. She listened carefully to English conversations around her. But most of the time, she could not understand everything. And this made her nervous. Very nervous. Sometimes she understood one sentence. Sometimes only a few words. And sometimes nothing. But another important thing is this. Maya never stopped trying. Every day she listened carefully. Every day she learned little by little. Because the truth is simple. English fluency takes time. At school, Maya felt shy. There were students from many countries: Japan, Turkey, Italy, Korea, Spain, and many more. Some students spoke English confidently, very confidently. They laughed easily, they answered questions quickly, and Maya compared herself to them. This was her biggest problem. Not English grammar, not vocabulary, comparison. She always thought, my English is bad. My pronunciation is bad. Everyone is better than me. And because of these thoughts, she became quieter every day. One afternoon, the teacher asked a simple question. What did you do last weekend? One by one, the students answered. Some answers were short. Some answers were long. Then the teacher looked at Maya. Maya? Maya's heart started beating fast, very fast. She knew the answer. The answer was simple. But her mind became nervous. She looked down at her notebook. Then quietly she said, I stayed home and watched movies. The teacher smiled warmly. Very good. But Maya still felt embarrassed. Why? Because her sentence sounded simple. But the real problem was this. Maya believed simple English was bad English. And this matters more than people realize. Because beginner English learners often think they must sound perfect. But perfect English is not the goal. Communication is the goal. Step by step. Little by little. After school, Maya walked home slowly. The sky was gray. Cold wind moved through the streets. She passed coffee shops full of people, friends talking together, couples laughing, people living normal lives. And suddenly, Maya missed home very much. She missed her mother. She missed warm weather. She missed hearing Portuguese everywhere. That night, she called her mother. Her mother answered quickly. "Maya, how are you?" Maya smiled softly. "I'm okay." But her mother understood immediately. "Maya, are you lonely?" For a few seconds, Maya said nothing. Then quietly she answered, "Yes." Her mother listened carefully. Then she said something simple. "But you are building a new life, and new lives feel uncomfortable at first. Do not run away too quickly. Give yourself time." Maya listened quietly, and little by little, she felt calmer. The next morning, Maya decided to change one small thing. Only one thing. She decided she would speak English at least one time every day. Just one time. Not perfect English, just communication. This was her small daily habit, and small habits matter very much. That day, she stopped at a coffee shop before school. Her hands felt nervous, but she walked inside anyway. The coffee shop smelled warm. Fresh bread, coffee, chocolate. A young man stood behind the counter. He smiled politely. "What would you like?" Maya took a slow breath. "Can I have a small coffee, please?" The man smiled again. "Of course." His English sounded fast, very fast. But Maya understood enough. And here is the important part. Nothing bad happened. The world did not end. Nobody laughed at her. Nobody judged her. She simply ordered coffee. A very small moment. But for Maya, it felt important. Very important. Days passed slowly. And Maya continued her small habit. One day, she asked someone for directions. Another day, she spoke to a classmate. Another day, she answered a teacher's question with 2 full sentences. Little by little, her confidence changed. Not suddenly, not dramatically. Slowly, quietly, naturally. And this is how real confidence usually grows. One evening after class, Maya sat in a park near the river. The weather was cold, but the sunset looked beautiful. Orange light moved across the water. People walked quietly nearby. Some people exercised. Some people read books. Some people sat alone, like Maya. And for the first time in many weeks, she did not feel completely lonely. She listened to English voices around her. And suddenly, she realized something important. 3 months ago, all these voices sounded impossible. Now, she understood much more. Not everything, but much more. And this gave her hope. The next week, a new student arrived at school. His name was Daniel. He came from Mexico. He looked nervous on his first day. Very nervous. Maya noticed immediately because she remembered her own first day. The teacher asked Daniel to introduce himself. Daniel spoke very quietly. His face became red, and some students looked impatient. Maya understood exactly how he felt. After class, she walked over to him. "Hi, I'm Maya."
Daniel smiled weakly. "I'm Daniel." "You're new?" "Yes." "How do you like London?" Daniel laughed softly. "I think I'm still confused." Maya laughed too. And for the first time in a long time, she felt useful. She felt connected to someone.
Soon, Maya and Daniel started talking more often. Sometimes after class, they walked together to the train station. Sometimes they practiced English together. Their conversations were simple, very simple. But simple conversations are powerful for English learners. They talked about food, family, music, movies, dreams, daily life. And little by little, speaking English started feeling more natural. Not perfect, natural. There is a big difference. One rainy afternoon, Maya and Daniel sat inside a quiet library cafe. Daniel looked tired. "I think my English is not improving," he said. Maya smiled softly. "I felt the same. But now?" Maya looked outside the window for a moment. Then she answered slowly. "I think improvement is difficult to see every day. But if you continue, one day you notice the difference." Daniel listened carefully. And the truth is simple. Sometimes we only understand our progress when we look back, not when we look forward. Winter slowly arrived in London. The air became colder. The mornings became darker. But something inside Maya had changed too. She still made mistakes. Many mistakes. Sometimes she forgot words. Sometimes she felt shy. Sometimes she misunderstood conversations. But now, these moments did not destroy her confidence. Because she finally understood something important. Mistakes are normal. Especially for English learners. Especially during English listening practice. Especially when speaking English in real life. And another important thing is this. People usually care much less than we imagine. Most people are busy thinking about their own lives, not our mistakes. One evening, Maya returned home after class. She made tea, sat near the window, and opened her notebook. Inside the notebook, she saw old English sentences from her first month in London. Very short sentences. Very simple vocabulary. Very nervous writing. Maya smiled quietly. Because now, she could write much more easily. And suddenly, she felt emotional. Not because she became perfect, but because she continued. This matters more than people realize. Consistency changes people slowly, very slowly, but it changes them deeply. Weeks later, Maya visited the same coffee shop again. The same young man stood behind the counter. He smiled immediately. "Hey, you're becoming a regular customer now." Maya laughed. "Yes, maybe." Then something surprising happened. The conversation continued naturally for almost 2 minutes. 2 full minutes in English. About weather, coffee, school, and daily life. Nothing dramatic, nothing extraordinary. But for Maya, it felt unbelievable. Because months ago, ordering coffee felt terrifying. Now, she was having real conversations. Step
by step, little by little. One night, Maya called her mother again. This time, her voice sounded different, lighter, calmer. Her mother noticed immediately. "You sound happier." Maya smiled. "I think I'm finally building a life here." Her mother became quiet for a moment. Then she said,
"I'm proud of you." Maya looked out the window. Rain moved softly across the glass. London still felt cold sometimes. Still busy. Still difficult. But now, it also felt familiar. And maybe this was the beginning of home. Listen carefully. If you are learning English right now, maybe you feel like Maya sometimes. Maybe you feel behind. Maybe you compare yourself to other people. Maybe you feel afraid of mistakes. Maybe English fluency feels far away. But the truth is simple. Improvement happens quietly. One conversation, one sentence, one small habit at a time. This is how confidence grows. This is how speaking English becomes easier.
This is how English listening improves naturally, little by little, step by step. And here is the important part. You do not need perfect English to start living your life. You only need courage to continue, even slowly, even imperfectly, even quietly. Thank you for listening today. This was an English story for beginners and intermediate English learners. I hope this English listening practice helped you relax and improve your English naturally. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep believing in your progress, little by little. Like, share, and subscribe for more English listening stories and daily English practice. And I will see you in the next story.